Oh, I am here with Mandy Clark, who has been a patient of mine for years. And I'm so grateful that you're here to tell us about your experience with naturopathic medicine. But tell me a little bit about you, who you are, and what made you seek out working with a naturopathic doctor.
Okay, so I'm Andy, like you mentioned, and I am an endurance athlete. And I also am a hairstylist. And so my life is really busy. And I was talking to a friend one day and I was like, I don't feel good and I'm tired. And I went to my doctor and everything was like checking out. And I just didn't feel like I was getting any better. And so I remember messaging her and I saw your Instagram and I'm like, I should just make an appointment because, like, what do I have to lose at this point? And that's literally where we started. So I feel like it was just, I have no other options. I'm not feeling better. And so, yeah,
Yeah, so it was like, I feel like I'm stuck, I'm spinning my wheels, and, like, it seems like everything's okay on paper, but I'm just not feeling as good as I could feel. And so you're a runner. So
yeah.
what surprised you about working with a naturopathic doctor?
Uh, I think one of the few like things I remember the most is I went in and I was like, she didn't say I couldn't have coffee. She didn't say that I couldn't have like dairy or gluten or all these things that I just assumed I would be told no to. I also like one of the like things I remember the most is you had like gently asked me, what are my thoughts about adding a carb? And it was like not you have to or you need to, but it was like such a gentle response to something you obviously heard in the way I was presenting all of the things I was having issues with.
Yeah, so it's like instead of being like, "Okay, cut out all these 19 things from your diet, and then also, like, we're gonna totally overhaul your nutrition
Totally.
all in one visit," it was a little bit more like bite-sized pieces, and that was
Totally. And it was
surprising.
actually like adding stuff instead of taking away. And I thought that was like such a cool way to look at it, like how much it's added to my ability to run further and faster. So
Yeah, so you noticed, like, when we made those changes, like, you started to feel better, but you also were able to run further, and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's awesome. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that was the goal, right? Like,
totally.
that's what we were
Yeah,
going for. And so is that one of the biggest things that's changed for you since seeing a naturopathic doctor?
I think so for sure. Like just even understanding what my body needs better and like having the time in your office to explain why we're doing the things we're doing
Mhm.
and to understand like my body's never going to be the same forever. And like even since seeing you, I think we've like our plan has never been the same. Like
Right.
every time I visit you, we tweak it a little bit and it's always evolving and it's changing with everything we do. And I like that it's just not this stagnant, like one answer. Like we've
Forever.
explored iron, we've explored carbs, we've explored so many different things and stress levels. And I think that that's really been a big take home.
That's awesome. So it's like every time we touch base, we've got to like shift something. And then I think there's also that idea of like if something's not quite working, what do we need to do
Totally.
differently? Or like was that even the right thing or the right like low-hanging fruit, if you will, the right like lever to pull, the right thing to change that had the biggest impact? Cause like that's
Totally.
ultimately what we're going for is like the impact, right? Yeah. Yeah, awesome. So, what would you say to somebody who's unsure or like on the fence about seeing a naturopathic doctor?
This is a funny question because in my job, I talk to a lot of females who are
Yeah.
going through different stages of life. And so I'm always like, have you thought about? And a lot of the answers are, well, I don't know, or things like that. And it's just been such a neat place to like explain that it's not just like, there's so much granola if you want granola, but it's
Mhm.
not just granola. Like there's like crunchiness to it and there's
Yeah.
like so much science behind it. And I feel like it's such like a safe place to like be heard. And I
Yeah.
think that's like something I think all women really want to hear in medicine is like that people are understanding their problems. And I feel like um naturopathy, you have so much time and you give
Mhm.
your patient so much time to like really consider what they're going through.
Yeah, they wanna feel, like, heard and supported and not dismissed, right? And I
Totally.
feel like that's also what you do in your salon, like, when you're
Yeah, yeah.
doing right? Like, you're having these intimate conversations and people feel like they can pour their souls out to you,
Yeah.
which, like, it can be challenging
Yeah,
sometimes,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's probably like my office where we, like, have the bucket of tears.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we're like in the salon, like, "Here you go.
Yeah.
Here's your little tissue." But I also know that you're so good at making people laugh and bringing, like, joy to that conversation too. So,
Yeah,
it's making people feel heard and supported, and then giving them, like, actionable solutions
totally.
that they can feel confident in their approach, whether it's, like, conventional or naturopathic or that,
Oh,
like, blend of, like, granola and Greek yogurt.
yeah. Yeah, 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 totally, yeah. Yeah.
And hopefully that reference makes sense. We're talking about, like,
Yeah,
the, like, esoteric, like, crunchy granola, spiritual, those kinds of
totally,
things that we're, like, blending with modern science and, endocrinology, hormones, nutrition, like, all of those kinds of things. So,
totally.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like both worlds, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I think you like, it's made it such an easy way to, like, chew on that, right? Like, it's
Mm.
not like throwing all of it all the time or, it's like, let's start here and, like, again, like, let's work on little bits at a time, and it's made it really easy to understand instead of it being, like, this whole scary new world.
I love the food metaphor that we're
Yeah.
using. We're like, "Granola, yogurt, chew on it," right? Like, it's like, you don't have to eat the whole steak, just take, like, a little bite. And that's probably what we did when we increased your carbs. We are like, maybe just, like, add, like, a fruit bar or, like, some rice cakes or, like, something small, and, like, we'll see what shifts, and we'll see what we can measure in that
Totally.
that'll change. So,
Yeah,
yeah, so it's, like, small things that have a big impact, and then that idea of also having a space where you can be really, like, heard and held and supported.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
fantastic. Is there any one thing that you wish people understood more about naturopathic care?
Like, I just feel like people just it's more like this understanding that there's just, like, more, and, like, you
Mhm.
can have naturopathic care and
Yeah.
conventional care, and they can be symbiotic, or it can, like some people need it as a replacement. It's just I feel like people, like, there's just so much misunderstanding of, like, what it really is.
Right.
And it's not just like, I don't know, I went to like, as a kid, I went to a naturopath, my mom took me, and it was like all these things like, "You can't have this, 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 and this." And so I
Yeah.
was like, "I'm never doing that again."
Mhm.
And then I tried it again, and I was like, "Oh, it's not this at all." And it was like this misunderstanding of, I think, of what naturopathic care really was, and that it was more like a holistic approach to your whole life. And
Yeah.
like, like, look, yeah, like we can talk about being an athlete, but like also what is life at home? Or like what
Right.
are the other stressors, and like that your care can also be holistic, and it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be just like your blood work. It can also be other parts of your life. And I think that's more what I've kind of come out with it.
Amazing. Yeah, it's like it doesn't have to be either or, right? You
Yeah.
don't have to fire your medical doctor when you start seeing a naturopath. In
Yeah.
fact, we
Yeah.
don't want you to do that actually.
Totally. Totally.
It's like we want both worlds to coexist, and then we also wanna look at, like, I love the example of the athlete when we're like, well, you know, what else is going on? Like, you've got your training, you've got your nutrition, but then, like, what is the stress level like at home? Like, what is the stress level like in your job? Like, what other things are taking up space in your bucket? Because, like, most people that I work with aren't professional athletes, and so they have
Yeah.
other things, even though we would, like, maybe love to be.
Right?
It's like we've got other priorities and other things that we've gotta attend to, and so it's like there's a lot of competing demands, and so it's just looking at, like, how do we balance if that's even a thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
where do we put our energy at what time with life and training and everything else that goes into it? Yeah, it doesn't
Totally.
have to be an either or situation, it's like a blend of
Yeah.
both. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
spending time with me and for chatting. And I just really appreciate your willingness to share your experience. So thanks,
Yeah. It was
Mandy.
so good. Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was really good.
Awesome.
Yeah.